Okay, let me know when you see my screen.
Visible, sir.
Visible. Okay, perfect. I guess your SQL class is already over, right?
Yes, sir.
And what else?
Excel sequences.
Power BI.
Pending.
Already says
Okay, fine. So, okay, that's fine. SQL is important because SQL and Tableau, they work pretty good together, because Tableau also works on a SQL engine and Tableau is a visualization tool. People are still joining. I can see people are still joining. Okay. Okay, guys, this little bit about myself, not much. Okay. My name is Unmesh and I have around 14 years of experience.
Tableau की चालू क्लास हो गई है.
Guys, if you're not asking or speaking anything, please go on mute. All right. So yeah, right now I work for a FMCG company, and I lead a team of developers, mostly the visualization developers and SQL developers. I'm Tableau certified, so there are a few certifications that you may also choose to do. So there are a few certifications I have done in the past. Okay, so this is a little bit about myself. Okay. So what we are going to do is basically, let me give you a little bit of introduction, what Tableau is, what are the different product lines of Tableau, and then we will start from there. Okay. So I have just opened the Tableau's website itself. If you go to the browser and type tableau.com/products, you will get to this page, and this is Tableau's page. And here under products, you see a list of products that are available. And Tableau is a Salesforce company. I mean, I think Salesforce acquired Tableau in the year 2019. Okay, and so these are different product lines that Tableau offers, but the one that we will be using for our training is Tableau Desktop. Okay, and there are other products like Tableau Server, Tableau Online, Tableau Prep, CRM. There's so many other things are there. Mostly when you work in a real-time environment, right, the two things that you will work the most is Tableau Desktop and Tableau Server. Okay, Tableau Desktop is the thing where you will build or you will create dashboards. This is where you will create, but once you create, you need to share that with people, right? So you will not share the application that you have built. So what you do is you publish that. You will publish it where? You will publish it to Tableau Server. I will show you how those things work, but just know that Tableau Desktop is for building visualizations, dashboards, reports, and Tableau Server is the place where we will publish that report so that other people can come and see those reports. Okay, so this is basically a centralized location, and not everybody can see it. The people who have right access, only they can come and see the report. Not everybody can see that report. Okay, similarly, there is Tableau Online, there is Tableau Prep. So Tableau Prep is something Tableau's, you can say it's a ETL tool, but specific to Tableau. Let's say you want to clean the data, right? So this is what you will use, Tableau Prep. You can also download and install Tableau Prep on your desktop. That's not a problem. You can do that. So this Tableau CRM. Hello. Any questions, guys?
No, sir.
Hello. Okay, I'm audible, right? My
Hello.
voice is not breaking, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, all right. Okay, similarly, there is something called Tableau CRM, okay, which I mean we are not using as of now, but this is again a Salesforce tool. There is something called Tableau Public. This is again a very important thing. This is very important in the sense, let's say you want to build your profile, okay, and you want to showcase, let's say, I'm trying to hire somebody, okay, and I do not know like what kind of things that person has done. So this Tableau Public is a great place where you can, guys, can you please go on mute? Okay. Okay. So this Tableau Public, right? This is a place where what you can do is you can build a portfolio for yourself. I mean, you can create visualizations connecting to data that are present, available publicly, and you can publish to Tableau Public, and you can also include that link in your resume before sharing it. You can share that with any recruiter. If it's a very Tableau specific role, people would love to see if you have a Tableau public profile. Basically, they would like to see whether if you have any community presence or not. Okay, let me show you my Tableau public profile. So this is the Tableau public profile, my Tableau public profile. It is basically public.tableau.com. Okay, and I have around 81 visualizations I had created in the past. Not, I'm not getting time nowadays, but I should be doing it, but I'm not doing it. I should be doing it. So here you can have different sorts of visualizations that you can create by connecting to our data. Let's say I'll open this one. So this is something I created in the year to 2020, March 24. Okay. Let me open this. Okay, now this is a report I have created based on data that is publicly available, and that time I showed like what is the coronavirus, the COVID-19 confirmed cases, where deaths were infected, how many people recovered, then how the infections are across the world, and this is where the origin place, the Hubei province of China. And you see when you hover over, also you can see more information. Let's say what are the total number of cases, how many confirmed, deaths, recovered, infected, all those things. Then on the right hand side, if somebody doesn't know what is Hubei, so there is a little bit of description about it. Then I'm also giving little bit of information what is COVID-19, like that, and the trend that is happening. So probably when I received the data, it was like only March 2020, March 22nd. Then at the bottom, I'm saying like what are the fatality rates by gender, by age, death rates by age group. Different age buckets have been created and the percentages are shown, right? And there are what are the different symptoms and what you should do if you develop any of these symptoms, how it spreads, what are the prevention. So it has a decent storyline to it, right? So these are the things that you can create and you can publish to your public profile, so that you can just need to share this link with the user or the recruiter, and you just put it in the resume. So people will get a first hand information like, okay, where you are exactly in terms of visualizations. And this basically gives the recruiter little more confidence about the person who is hiring. Definitely you will get an edge over the others if you have something like this. Any questions, guys, till now?
No, sir.
But I would highly encourage everybody to create a public profile. It is free of cost. There is no cost associated. So please do that. All right. Now, these are different products, but what about pricing? We should know that, right? When you're using a product, we should know like what it is cost per user, how they are being charged, and all those things. So under products, there is something called plans and pricing. Okay, if you come to this, let it open. Okay, so here you see there are two sections mostly for teams and organizations and for individuals. But mostly we will focus on teams and organization because you will work. If you join a company, you will work in a team, and that organization will have licensing for itself. So there are two things here again. One is deploy with Tableau online, fully hosted by Tableau, and there is something deploy with Tableau server on premises for users. Okay. So what is the difference between these two? Deploy with Tableau online public hosted and deploy with on-premise thing. So basically any big company that you join, it will have a on-premise setup. Only the companies that are like startup, new companies, small companies, they may go with this Tableau online, which is hosted by Tableau. So Tableau will manage the infrastructure for you. But big companies, they think, no, no, we will manage, because they may think that their data may not, why they will send their data to give their data to somebody else to manage. So they have all the infrastructure and everything within the environment, within the company's environment. So that is on premise, and this is with Tableau online, which is managed by Tableau. So the pricing also little bit different. If it is Tableau will manage it for you, definitely they will charge you a little more. So there are three types of roles in Tableau, very important again. Tableau creator, Tableau explorer, Tableau viewer. Okay. So this Tableau creator is the person who is developing the reports. You, okay, if you join a company with as a Tableau developer, you will be granted this license, which is Tableau creator. Okay. And that is basically $70 per user per month, and it is billed annually. So it is coming up to how much? $840 per year. Now there is something called Tableau Explorer and Tableau Viewer. Okay, and this is $42 per user per month, and this is $15 per user per month. So what is the difference between Explorer and a Viewer? Viewer is the person, let's say you create the report using Tableau desktop, you published it to Tableau server, which is then managed by, let's say, either Tableau online or on premise. So once you publish it, I mean, the person who has been given the viewer license, they will just come see the report, what you have created. They won't be able to do anything extra. They would be able to interact, they can slice and dice, they can do everything. But let's say if they want to do some web editing, let's say there is a report and they want to do something and they want to save it for themselves. So only Tableau Explorer license holders can do that, but Tableau Viewer can't do that. That's why this is little bit expensive, because it gives the user that extra flexibility to do changes to the existing report and save it for themselves. Okay, so these are basically the super users. These are the users, the power users, basically what we call, right? So these are the people who actually, I mean, business people plus they know technically also how to use the tool. So those people may be given this Explorer license. Similarly, there is something called on-premise. So there is only two change in the creator license that remains same, but the Explorer and Viewer little change. So on-premise, this 42 will become 35 and this 15 will become 12. So because you are managing it yourself, so there is a slight reduction in the Explorer and Viewer licenses. So these are the three roles that are available in every Tableau environment. You see here it is written every deployment requires at least one creator. This is the minimum requirement. Earlier what it was, if I remember correctly, I think there were, so here the basic requirement is one creator. For Explorer, I think there were 12 licenses you had to buy. And for Tableau Viewer, at least 100 licenses you need to buy the moment you set up your Tableau environment. But right now, since the market competition is more between other tools, the biggest competitor is Power BI. Probably Tableau has removed those prerequisites that you need to purchase so and so many licenses. That is no more there. I don't know when they remove it, but it is no more. Earlier it was there.
Sir, how many people will be able to log in? I mean to say, if someone has bought this, so by one login ID, like at one time, how many people will be able to log in? Is it something like that? Allowed how we use Prime and something? Does it
No,
go
there is
this?
no. I mean, there is no limitation to that. It's based on like how many people you have assigned the role. Let's say you have given this explorer role to 10 people and viewer role to 500 people. No problem. Everybody can log in at the same time. Whoever has access and the licenses can come and see the report in the Tableau server.
So it's going to be the same price, but it depends how many people will be allowed. N number of people will be able to log in.
Yeah, so basically, let's say viewers are more in your organization. Let's say you are a big organization, then the Tableau is used enterprise wide. So let's say there are like 1,000 viewers. Everybody is giving charged this $12. They can come and see this simultaneously, separately. It doesn't matter. They can do it.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Any other questions, guys, before we move on?
Ideally, when we work, we will be given the access of creator, right?
Can you repeat your question one more time?
Ideally, when we start working for Tableau and some other organizations, will we get the access of creator or how exactly?
Yeah, if you join as a developer, Tableau developer, you will have to have this license, Tableau creator license, because then only you will be able to use that Tableau desktop, right? I was talking about. Without license, you can't.
And viewer will be only business user and stakeholders or anyone?
Yes. Yes. Business holders, stakeholders, like basically who are going to use the report. Basically, for whom you have created the report, they are the people. Okay. Any other questions, guys? All right, no problem. Okay, let's move on. Now, how to get the Tableau desktop now? Next question, right? So, you just need to go to Google, download. So what happens? Tableau releases different versions, right? So if I come to this, do I see this? Tableau. Okay, I'll say Tableau releases. Oops. So you see, these are the different versions right now that Tableau supports. So you can download this version, guys, 2021.4. This 2022.1, I think it was recently released. I think just a week back, March 30, 2022. So you can install this. So you just go to Google and say like download Tableau 2021.4. Okay. So you download these versions. I'm currently using this version, but you can have multiple versions of Tableau on your machine. There is no restriction. Okay. So I mean, even the companies, the organization that you will be joining, right? They might not be using the most latest version, because once the latest version is released, a lot of testing is required within an organization to check, to ensure that okay, this version is stable and we can install this. So all the organizations will definitely be behind one or two versions. In my company, we are right now at 2021.2, and this was released when like the first release happened June 23, 21. So around like 10 months back, 8-10 months back. So we are using this version at my company. So for our training, just download this version 2021.4. So also you can see like what are different releases happening for each, with each download. So you can click and see that, you can read more about it for each person. Like, so you see the naming convention, how it is 2021.1.2.3.4. So basically what Tableau does is it prefixes the year in which it is releasing and how many versions they have released in that year. So in 2020, there are 4 versions. In 2020, also there are 4 versions. 2019, there are 4 versions. Before that, in 2018, 3 versions. 2019, 3 versions. Right? Like that, they release. I started working with 9.2, then 9.3, then 10.1, 10.2, like 10.5. Then they came up with this 2018.123, like this. So right now it is 2022.1. So in this year, they have only one release so far. So basically every quarter they release a version. And these versions will have new features, fixes to the existing problems, all those things. You see, if I just open this one, and if I just click on a particular sub-release, so they will tell you like, okay, this is the release date, okay, and what the problems they resolved, visualization within tooltip applied, something they have given. So these are like different fixes, and you can download it. So this is download files. So if you are using a Windows, you can download from here, and if you're using a Mac, you can download it from here. So this is where you will download. But there is a catch. So once you download this desktop version, right, you will get a 14-day license period, guys. So 14 days is the time. After that, you will not be able to use it any longer. But there is something I can tell you, like there is a student license also available. Okay, student license for Tableau, and that is valid for 1 year. Okay, so let's say if I go to this, if you manage to find a student ID card, like in your relatives or whoever it is studying in college right now, if you can get their ID card, what Tableau would need is basically a photocopy of that ID card. You just upload it and they will share a license, and which will be valid for 1 year. Try to do that. If I do this, student Tableau, you see Tableau for student. So you can, there's so many things. So you see there are so many frequently asked questions also there. So you can download the Tableau student license, get Tableau for free. It will ask a lot of details. You need to upload the image of the ID card, and this will be valid for 1 year. Okay, if at all you still can't get a student license, you see there's so many information like what is the college, when the graduation year, all these things are there. So try to do this, I mean, if you can. If not, there is something called a Tableau. What you can do here is there is something called Tableau public. The Tableau public, the one that I showed is different, my public profile, but there is something called download Tableau public. So this is also there, download Tableau public. The only drawback with this is you won't be able to save anything to your desktop. Everything that you create, you need to save it to Tableau public profile. So that is the only problem. Otherwise, this will also work fine. If you don't get a Tableau desktop license, you can go ahead with it. But I would encourage you to get a Tableau desktop license by using some student ID or something that will be like you are working in a real Tableau desktop when you join any organization, right? It will be like that. So that will help you. Any questions, guys?
No, sir.
All right. Now I'm going to the actual application. So this is Tableau desktop. I have already opened it. So this is a desktop application. If you can see here, these are my shortcuts. So this is a desktop application. When you open for the first time, right? If you open for the first time, this is the landing page when you open Tableau. And I see, sorry, and I see there are a lot of visualizations already present because these are kind of shortcuts to what I have already created. Otherwise, this space will be blank for you because when you're opening for the first time, it will be blank. And the dashboard that you will be doing is a final dashboard. Let me open that. Okay, let me. So this is a dashboard that you will be doing. This is basically Twitter data, a sample Twitter data, like where you can see like how many likes for a tweet, retweets, replies, how many people clicked on URL, how many people clicked on the hashtag. All those things are here, right? How many impressions, engagement, daily engagement rate by volume, by hour. All those things are there, right? So, and here there is a map, the calendar that we have created, and it acts as a filter. You can select the month. So this will be a final kind of dashboard that you will be creating. I will give you this later and you will create. Once we have the building blocks, I will start giving this data as well so that you can start creating this report. Okay. This is one of the final dashboards. Okay. Let me close it for now. Oops, I totally closed Tableau. Wait. So let me open again Tableau. Before it opens, any questions, guys? Anything you want to know more?
So, the use of Tableau is for data visualization.
Tableau is a data visualization tool. Yes.
So, if we want to present our data in front of our stakeholder or something like that, so we can use this. This is the only function.
This is on the.
This is the function that Tableau has.
Yeah. I mean, yes. To be, the short answer is yes, but it's a visualization tool. It's a data exploration tool. You can use it like so many ways. Yeah.
Sir, what is Tableau Prep?
Tableau Prep is the data preparation tool or data cleaning tool of Tableau. Okay. So let's say Tableau is a visualization tool. So we always keep the data cleaning outside the visualization tool. We don't do data cleaning within the visualization, be it any tool, whatever tool you use, make sure you provide clean data to it because otherwise it will consume resources unnecessarily. So Prep is the tool, Tableau Prep, where you can clean your data, you can apply business logic, all those things can be done outside Tableau. Then you can generate a file from that prep and you can connect it from Tableau to that or clean data you can connect. So it's a personalized ETL tool for yourself, you can say.
So, sir, can we think that it is just like Ultrax type?
You can. But Alteryx is much more powerful, but yes, answer is yes. And also once you have Tableau desktop installed, right, it when you install prep, it will not need any separate license. You can use that same Tableau desktop license will apply to that. So if I go to this help manage product keys, I'll show you the license key. So this is the Tableau product license key, and my license is getting expired in the month of September. So this is the license key. Once you have applied for the student license, right, this is what Tableau will send you, a license key of like this, and you need to come here and enter it and activate. That's it. All right. Now this is the landing page, and once you open Tableau, this is what you will see in real time also. And on the left hand side, we see like any data source that we want to connect to, right? So these are the different, let's say if you want to connect any Excel file, flat file, JSON, PDF, special files, statistical files, all those things can be connected if you want to connect an individual file. But let's say in real time, mostly you will connect to a server, right? It's not always Excel, it will be a server. So there are so many options available. If I click on more, you see these are the different types of servers that Tableau at present supports. There are so many, like there are 77, almost 77, and it will have all the major databases in the world. Most frequently used ones are SQL Server, Azure Data Lake, right? Azure Synapse, Google BigQuery, right? These are the ones that are mostly used. You can connect to Teradata, you can connect to Hive, you can connect to anything. I mean, everything is here. SAP HANA, you can connect to, right? And you will find some shortcuts here. So Tableau thinks these are the most widely used connections. So they have given a shortcut here. So you may not come to this more here directly. You can connect and you can start working. Let's connect to an Excel file first. Okay, so what I need to do is, let's say I will connect to an Excel file, which is to connect that. Just click on it. The moment you click on it, it will open a window for you, and it will ask you to browse the location. So basically, okay, let's say this is my location. It is already saved, which is basically it's in my Tableau repository, data sources and 2021. That's okay. Let me connect to a file called sample superstore, right? And this sample superstore file comes when you download Tableau. It comes default with it. Have you worked with sample superstore already when you are covering Excel?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No problem. No problem. So this is a default Excel file that comes the moment you download Tableau, whether it's a trial version or anything, it will come. So most of our training will be based on this file, based on this data, because it's a very well curated, defined data set. We will use this. Let's say I click on open. The moment I click on open, now it has taken me to the data source page. The screen that you see right now in front of you is data source. It's not yet fully loaded. Once it loads, I'll tell you. Okay, now it is loaded. So you see it says drag tables here. Okay, and that Excel sheet has, that Excel workbook has basically these three sheets: orders, people, return. So these are the three sheets in that Excel file. Let me open that Excel file and I'll show you one second. So that you will get an idea what data we are connecting to and how it looks in Tableau. Let's see samples store. Go to documents, my Tableau repository, data sources. Okay, so you see there are a lot of different versions, because these are the different versions that I installed on this system. So using all this. So I'll go to this, and this is the file. Let me open. Now you see this is the data set, and you see there are 3 sheets in this: orders, people, and returns. Okay, so this order table is what basically it has. Think of like in Flipkart or Amazon, you place an order, right? The order ID is then getting generated, then the order date, like when you place the order, and when the shipment happens, that is the ship date, what the mode of shipping, like whatever it is, then the customer ID, then the customer name, what segment that product belongs to, which country, state, city, postal code, region, what is the product ID, what is the category of that product, whether different value, subcategory, product name, then like you have your sales information, how many quantities you purchased, what are the, if there is any discount, and what's the profit. Okay, all those things. So this is the data set that we have just opened, and Tableau is showing it here. So it basically once you connect, right? So this is my connection on the left hand side. That is the Excel connection that we have made. If any time you want to change, you can go and edit the connection. And if you want to browse, okay, if you think no, this is not the right file, you can change that also. Now it says me to drag tables here. So I will just drag and drop orders here. Okay, let it come. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'll be back. Just 1 second. Oh, guys, I'm back. Sorry. Okay, so I have dragged the table here, orders table here. So what it gives me is basically there are a few more information that you can see here. Okay, so this is the table that I'm using, and on the left hand side, it gives me a preview. Sorry, on the right hand side, it gives me a preview, but left hand side, it's basically the some information about my data set, like what are my fields, what is the remote field name, all those things. Okay, what are the different, if there are multiple tables, so you would see it here. Let's say there's only one table we are using, so it is saying orders, and so this is something called order ID, and this is the remote field name. So basically sometimes what may have happened, let's say if you join an organization, right, it's not always like you will create new reports only. There might be time you will have to do changes to the existing reports that somebody has created, and they will give you that report to you and do some enhancements, or there is a bug, can you fix it? They will ask you like that. So in that case, so this remote, let's say this field name somebody has changed, let's say I'm changing the field here. Okay, I can change it. You see the order date, order on the data, it will look like this, and order underscore ID, but the remote field will always tell you like what is the table, the column name in the table. I mean, let's say you're connecting to a SQL server. In that table, exactly what is the column? You can click on this, and you can click on this describe also, any field. It gives you a little more information. What it gives me, like whether it's a dimension, right? Dimension is basically by which you can slice and dice. You can do grouping and all those things, right? So it's a database column. This is a remote column name. So you see the normal column looks like order underscore ID, but remote column is exactly still this one. Okay, and there are some like data types and all those things are there, and some distinct values it puts. So this gives you more information about it. So this is the remote column what I was talking about here. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Now you see here, you see these are my different columns, right? These are my different columns, and every column will have a data type, right? Every column will have a data type. Let's say this is order ID. This is kind of numbers. This order ID, this is string. You see ABC means it is a string data type. Okay, this data type is string ABC. Now this is a date. You see there is a calendar. So this is a date data type. Now you see there is something called a region. There is a globe. So this is a geographical location data type. Geolocation data, you can say. Now on the right hand side, there are like, these are different metrics. So these are like my measures. You see there is a little difference. This is blue in color. This is green. Can you identify that difference, guys?
Numerical character.
Sorry.
Yes, sir. It's
Yes,
visible.
sir.
Yeah. So exactly. So these are basically your discrete fields. These are your continuous fields. Okay. So discrete is always blue. Continuous is always green. So if I click on this, we'll get it. Okay. It should also show me here. Continuous measure. You see this? Continuous measure. In Tableau, that I mean, it is divided into dimension and measure. Dimensions basically your categorical fields. Measures are basically your numerical fields. This is, let's say, order ID, right? So if I come here and describe this, it will tell me a discrete field. You see discrete dimension. Okay. So this is, by looking at the color, you can tell me like whether something is discrete or it is a continuous. If I come to the first thing, first row ID, even though it is a number, but the color is blue, so it is a discrete. Okay, that's how you will identify. Let's say at any point you want to change the data type also, it is pretty easy. You can just click on it. These are the available data types and you can change. Let's say I want to see, like, I don't want to see the date. Let's say I want to see the date time. Okay, so now it is, I have changed it to date time. So this timestamp is also added to the date. You see there is a little clock icon also added to the calendar. So now that data type is changed. If you describe this also, this is like a discrete column or a date, and these are the different unique values that it has. And now let me go back and change it again. So it's pretty easy to change the data type here. By default, it shows like 100 records, but you can increase. Let's say if you want to see more records, you can type in 1000 and it can show you. Now, okay, here there should be one more thing. So here this gear icon, right? This is called the gear icon. So it is basically the data source order. So my data source means this Excel file is how it is: order ID, order date, ship date, like that, right? So in this also, in my Tableau also, this is the same order that follows. If you don't want that, it is difficult for you to identify, you can change this order. Let's say I will change it to A to Z, so that my fields on my Tableau, they will be sorted alphabetically as well, like starting from A, then running up to Z. Okay, something like that. You can sort it the way you want. Now there is something called show aliases and show hidden fields. Let's say show aliases. Let's say, where is that? Let me go back again to data source. So basically this is an alias because the actual field is order space ID, but I change it to order underscore ID. Just think it like in SQL we use that as, right? Select column name as something. So that is the alias. So this is the aliasing that has been done here. You see, if I just go to click on this alias, okay, that is fine. But let's say for any value, if you would have changed anything, so it will tell you like what is the alias, right? Let's say for a simple example, if I go to this ship mode, this is second class, I will just make it underscore. Okay, let me go to alias. Second class, I'll change second class because it's on top. Let's say I will put an underscore and hit enter. You see, it has an alias now. That means there is an asterisk. Can you see this, right? That means this is aliased already. Oh, alias. I didn't press on OK. So it got removed. Hit enter and I say OK. You see, now the values got underscore to it. So this is the aliasing that we have done. The actual value is second class with a space, but this is the alias value. So this is what everybody will see in the report. If you use this second class anywhere else in the report, this is how it will be visible. Okay. Control Z. Okay. Now, once you have seen the data, you have got a little bit of feel of data, like what it is, how it is. Now the next thing is you will go and work on the report. So to do that, you need to go, you see there is a little bit of prompt that is giving me, like go to worksheet. Click on sheet 1, right? So there are multiple sheets you can add, like in Excel. So by default, one sheet will open and you can add more sheets. All right. Okay. Now let's say these are the same data that we saw in the data source page. Also, the same thing is represented on the left hand side of your Tableau, which is the data pane. This is called data pane. Under the data pane, the data is now categorized. Now you see there is a slight line going because these are all dimensions and these are all measures. How do I know? Let's say I just see I'm trying to drag and drop that ship mode. You see there is a demarcation that comes, right? Dimensions and measures. So that line basically separates dimensions from measures. So earlier they had like dimensions, measures written. If you open any old version, right, 2018 or 2019, you would see those dimensions, measures written, but after that they have completely removed it. Also, we see the data types here. You can change them here also. There is no restriction. You can change it on the data source page, or you can come to the sheet and you can change it here. Whatever is comfortable, you can do that. Both will be same. The end result is same for both. Any questions, guys, so far? Okay. Now you see.
Sir, one question.
Mhm.
So in dimension and measure, how can we differentiate by showing the value that it is a discrete and this is a continuous?
I mean, in the data pane right now.
No, sir. Means in by looking at the data, not by the color, sir, but looking at the data means how can I decide this is a discrete type and this is a continuous type?
Good question. By looking at the data, anything that is categorical in nature, right? If I open the Excel sheet, let's say this ship mode, right? This, I mean, it's very natural that this is a discrete field, right? It cannot be continuous. Continuous are mostly your measures, okay? Mostly measures. You see this? These are your continuous. So looking at the values, you can say, but by looking at the field, the column name, maybe it is not easy for you to, because you cannot know like what value it might contain. Let's say ship mode, let's say it could be like 1, 2, 3, 4 also can be present to represent all the different classes, but you cannot use that as a measure. Let's say one field is, let's say, age. Okay, age, you cannot say like, I mean, you can, I mean, see, you can use it in different ways. You cannot simply say like, what is my total age? It doesn't make sense. But you want to slice and dice by age, you can do that. You can find an average age, that is fine. But depends. By you need to look at the values for that. By looking at the field name, it may be a little bit difficult, but you may need to look at the values to identify whether it could be a discrete or a continuous. Tableau tells you because the green and blue things are there. Let's say I will drag and drop something. In Tableau, you always drag and drop. Let's say I'll drag and drop category to rows. You see, this is blue, right? So this is discrete, I know, but and also let's say I'll drag and drop sales to columns. See, this is
Yes,
continuous.
sir. What about row ID? Row ID is discrete, right?
No, it is discrete, but it is not okay. It is discrete.
Means it is a measure field, but it is discrete. Just
No,
the
it's not a
confusion.
measure field, it's an ID. ID cannot be a measure, right? I mean, you cannot You cannot, let's say there is customer ID, even though it is a number, you cannot
Okay.
sum it up, right? You cannot find the average customer ID, right? You can
Got
count,
it.
right? Like
Yes,
that.
yes, got it, got it.
Yeah, but order date is a major field.
Sorry,
Order date is a major field.
order date. That's an interesting question. Okay, date, not a measure. Measure is something that you can aggregate. Discount, profit, sales, quantity, these are your measures. Date is something you can slice and dice, all those things like your customer ID, customer name, region, city, state, like those are your discrete. Measures are always numbers.
The order date is discrete.
Order date is discrete. I mean, it can be both. Date is the only exception in dimensions which can be both discrete and continuous. You see, I have used category here. If I go to the drop down, you see there is something called dimension, right? This is a dimension, but color is blue, so we know it's a discrete dimension. But date is something you can use it both as a discrete field, you can use it as a continuous field. We'll come to that. Okay, but good question. Hold on to that. We'll come to that. Okay, so anyone can look at this pills and can say like, okay, category is a discrete field and sales is a measure field, or it's a continuous. If I click on this, you see it is continuous. Okay, the color itself and the measure sum, the aggregation that has been used is sum, and you can change the different aggregation type. But I do not have these options for category. You would have very few, like minimum, maximum, count this thing. But in sum, in the sales, I had many more aggregation methods available, right? But category only few. Of course, right? You can count the categories, you cannot sum the categories, right? So in Tableau, everything works drag and drop, and I dragged into rows category field. This is my row shelf, this is my column shelf, and these are my filter shelf. Just try to remember your pivot table, how it is. Like on the right hand side, report filter is there, right? Then row, column, values, right? Same, just think it like that. Rows, columns, filters. For values, you can use it in different ways. So I did like in columns, I used sales. I can put sales into this label also, this will change. So every time you drag and drop any measure to rows and column, it will create a chart for you. Let's say I'll put it here. Now it will create a chart. I'll put it here. The way you put it, where you're putting it makes the whole lot of difference. What makes sense, what doesn't make sense. But if you use anything here, it will give you the number. So this is my row shelf, this is my column shelf, this is filters, these are my marks card. In marks card, you can do a lot of things. Color, size, text, tooltip, all those things can be done here. This is the data source we have connected to. Order sample superstore, right? This is the same thing. If you go to the data source, this is the same thing. And you can right click also, edit data source also, it will take you to the same data source page. If you want to do any change here, you can do that. On the right hand side, there is something called show me. And that show me is basically, there are like basically 24 default chart types that are available. Tableau has given you. Now you see, you might be seeing that some are highlighted, some are grayed out, right? Not everything is highlighted because Tableau thinks whatever data, whatever fields that I have used to create this small visualization, you can, I mean, for this data, these all chart types can be used. That's why only those are highlighted and the others are grayed out. You see, when I hover over, it gives me more information like what is needed to create those visualization. You see, this is a text table which is already created. This is a text table. What it needs at the bottom, if you read here, bottom, it tells me one or more dimension, one or more measure. So I have used one dimension, which is category, one measure, which is sales. If I come to here, this chart type, which is basically a heat map. So basically it is one or more dimension, one or like, if you want to change it, you can just click on it. So you see it is already changing here. Okay. So when you hover over it, it tells me like one or more dimension, one or two measures. So if you want to make it more good, better, let's say I'll put something like an order date. You see, the moment I'm dragging and dropping the date, it is coming in blue pill. By default, it's a date field. So it is trying to aggregate to the highest granularity, which is year. Okay, this is the most granular information, year, then year, then you can expand in month, then quarter, day, like year, quarter, month, day, like that it goes. Okay, let's say I'll remove this. Let's say this is year. Date is the only field where you can change it to discrete and continuous, even though it is a blue pill. But if I go to category, it is only one. There is no option for me to change to discrete or continuous. I will come to the what is discrete and what is continuous now. So it's very important to understand. Let's say I'll go to new sheet. Let's say I will drag and drop order date. And this time I'll go to the drop down, and you see when you go to the drop down, since it's a date field, there are different types of um, uh, date values I can select. Let's say I select this month. So there are two, say year, quarter, month, here also year, quarter, month. We'll try to understand this. And at the bottom, you see discrete is selected by default. Let's say I select on month. Okay, month order date. What it is, discrete or continuous now?
Continuous.
This is discrete. You see, blue pill. Always look at the color. Simple as that. Okay, this is blue pill. Now I'll drag and drop sales also to rows. Okay, it gives me a chart. Okay, a line chart, because Tableau understands that okay, there is a date field use, there is a measure use, so I should give a line chart. But here I'll go to new sheet. Just I'm trying to understand what is this order date. If I put order date to rows, you see there are 4 years of data, right? There are 4 years of data, 2018 through 2021. But if I go to the sheet 2 and I have made it month, you see it's only Jan till December. So that means this Jan is actually all the Januaries put together, right? 2018, 19, 20, 21. All the Januaries put together. That's what this discrete does. But if you change it to this month, it will become a continuous. Okay, let me change it. Now you see, now it has become continuous. How do you know? The color. Look at this. This is a continuous month. So this continuous month, if we have like January 2018, February, March, April, May, then again like January 2019. This is continuous in nature. Okay. Now there is a difference here. Now again, I'll go back to the, in interview, this is a must question, discrete and continuous. Let's say I change it to discrete again. Now you see there are sorting icons. You can see there are sorting icons. The same sorting can be done from here. I can sort it like highest to lowest. I can sort it lowest to highest. I can sort all the way I want. Okay, highest to lowest, lowest to highest, anything that I want. Okay, if I again click on it, it will just, okay, one more click, it will reset. Okay, but if I just change it to continuous, you see what will happen. You see, I change it to continuous now. Now you see there are no sorting icons. Okay, there are no sorting icons. You cannot sort it. And that's a first difference. Difference between discrete and continuous. You can definitely start from the color. Discrete is always blue pill. Continuous is green. Discrete, if it is discrete, you can sort it. But continuous cannot be sorted. Okay, it cannot be sorted. Another difference, let's say this is my discrete field, right? I can click on this. You see, I can click on this. These are my, what is that? Right click. If you see, this is called header. This is called a header. These are all headers. But if I change it to continuous, this is continuous. You see, when I click on it, it is no more a header. You can see this entire range now. Right click, you see it's an axis. So discrete gives you headers, continuous gives you axis. Okay, this is the major difference. Discrete you can sort, continuous you cannot sort. Discrete gives you headers, continuous gives you axis. So basically continuous is an unbroken whole thing. discrete, each and every element is separate. Let's further understand this. Let's say I'll remove this. I will use subcategory here, and also let me put sales here. So I have my subcategory by sales. Let me rotate this. Okay, let me sort this. And let's say I will use subcategory into color. You see now, subcategory is what field? It's a discrete field, right? Because it's a blue pill, and when I used in color, right? Each and every element is separate, individually separate. Discretes are individually separate. Right? This is how you need to answer in the interview. Discretes are individually separate because I use subcategory in color. So each and everything is given a different color. Now let's say instead of subcategory, I will use a measure field in color. Let's say I will use sales in color. Now what is happening? You see, I did not get individual values for sales. Rather, it is a range. You see, this is a range. It starts from 3024 and goes up to 330,000. So continuous gives you a range. Discrete gives you headers. Discretes are individually separate. Discrete can be sorted, but continuous cannot be sorted. It gives you an axis. You see the same value, just that the gradient is being changed. Like if the sales is low, let me turn on the labels. If the sales is low, then it is lighter blue. If it is more, then it is darker blue. I can use any other field, any measure here also. I can use uh, profit also into colors, even though there are sales happening, but the profit is not there. Here also it gives me a range, because if you look at this, there are some negative profits for certain subcategories. Tables, we have this money sales is pretty good, but my profit is negative. So it is again give me a range because I used a continuous field. If I use a discrete field, it gives me discrete headers. Any questions, guys?
Sir, you can convert any field from discrete to continuous.
No, I cannot convert subcategory to continuous. You see, okay, it may happen, but what will happen is, let's say I'm getting an option to convert to measure, but what will happen when I convert to measure? It will give me that count thing, always count distinct subcategory, right? So I can say the answer is yes, but it is difficult to, how will you use this now, subcategory count, right? It will be difficult to use count distinct. Let's say if I just drag and drop somewhere, what will happen? It will just give me the number of distinct subcategories, which are 17. How do I know? Even if you, let's say I will again change it to dimension. Now if I just drag and drop rows, you see there are 17 rows. How do I know? You see 17 marks on the left hand side bottom, or 17 rows. There's 17 rows here. Okay, so that's how it gives me count distinct subcategories. So it really, you need to understand why you are doing it first before doing that. Okay, then only you will do it. Okay, so it could be like use case specific. Any other question?
So you keep subcategory in columns and sum of sale in rows, and when you go for sum of profit in color, so in graph we get in x-axis our subcategory and in y-axis sum of sale, and by color we can able to understand the profit.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes.
It's in graph, if we have no color, then we can't able to understand the profit or loss.
Exactly. So you can add always more context to your report. So here what I have used in my x-axis, it is columns, basically columns, right? Subcategory, sales in rows. This is my sales. So I used profit in colors to understand better my data, like what is happening, right? I can rotate this.
Simultaneously, we can add one more column to our color inside
Yeah.
text.
I mean, you can add more column. Let's say I want to add category also. Okay, let's say column. So now the subcategories are further divided by category.
And to mark color also, sir.
Color, okay. What you want to use? Tell me.
any one of the column into color.
It will override this. But so if you add any more color, right? Let's say if I put color into category, it will work like that. Also, let's say, I mean, you can add more, but okay, let me put, so if I just put it on top, so it's a good question. If I put it on top directly, it will override what is already being used. So what we can do here is, let's say I'll put profit into this detail section. You see this icon is matching with this. This icon is matching with this. So this, you can go here and you can change it to color. No, it's still not working. Okay. So, I mean, it doesn't make, it will be very, how do you identify? Like, let's say I have profit in color. Also, you'll put subcategory into color. It will be difficult, right? I mean, not possible. Let's say what I can do here is, let me try another one if it is possible. Both of same data type you can do, okay? Because category and subcategory both are of discrete data type, right? So I can use both fields into color, but you cannot directly drag and drop into color. You can put it into detail, then go to this and change the color like that. But if I'm using profit and subcategory, always one will override the other. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, you need to ask more questions, then only I will be able to explain more, okay, in case there is something needed.
Then is there a relationship between discrete and continuous and measure and dimension?
What kind of relationship? I mean, any example you can give?
I mean, you know, the sales are measure and they're discrete too. No, they're continuous.
They are continuous. Look at the color.
Hmm,
They're continuous.
right. So measure field will always be continuous.
It's all by default, it is continuous. You can change it if you don't want it in a continuous field. Let's say I have a field called quantity, right? I have a field called quantity. And let's say if you simply drag and drop, what happens? If it is a measure, it will aggregate. That's a default behavior. Sum of quantity is this much, 37,873. But you know how this quantity looks. If I go to the data, if I go to the quantity, looks like this, right? It's like how many quantities people are basically ordering. Like some are ordering 2, 3, 4, 5 until 14. Let's say I want to find out the sales by quantity, even though both are measures. So in that case, I need to change this to a dimension. Let's say I'll change it to dimension. Quantity I'll put into rows 1 to 14, and I can put sales here. So I can say like, okay, which is that quantity where people are buying more? So this, let's say I'll put sales here. So I mean, most people are buying 3 quantities. I can say that. So it depends how, what's your use case and how you want to represent your data. So you can change from measures to dimension. Yes. Answer is yes.
Okay.
Okay. Good question.
I mean, probably if we explore more, we'll understand more.
Yeah, you just need to play around. That's it. I mean, you need to play around. That's it. I mean, there's no shortcut.
Right, sir. Thank you.
All right. So on the data source page, there are a few more things. Okay. Very important things. Again, the connection types, live, extract. There are filters, right? Those things. What we will do is we will cover. Not today. I have a meeting at 10 o'clock. So let's call it a day for now. What we'll do is we'll meet again on Friday morning, same time 8:30, and we'll deep dive like how Tableau basically works, the different building blocks. So today was the class where I wanted to give you a little bit of introduction, different product types, the pricing, what you can do. You can create a Tableau public profile, how to get the Tableau desktop downloaded, and what the data types, little bit, all those things. But we'll get into more details once from Friday. I mean, we'll go a little fast from Friday.
Sir, can we convert the axis, sir, in sum of cell in y axis and
Yeah,
quantity
you can
axis?
rotate. You can rotate. I mean, it's just basically how you place things, where you place things. That's it. This you wanted, right? This is what you wanted. Okay. Any Tableau?
So there are these 3 items after sheet number 5. Can you please tell us about the difference between?
Oh, after this. Okay, so this is basically sheets. If you add, you'll add more sheets where you can create a visuals. Okay. So once you create a visuals, you will not represent them like single sheets, right? So you need to club them together. That's where the dashboard comes in. So this second one is basically the dashboard, where you will see all the sheets that you have created. Let's say I'll just do something like this quickly. It's not a real dashboard, but let's say I'll do something like this. You see, this is where you will assemble all the things that you have already created. Okay. So this is your dashboard basically, where you will, let's say I'll bring one more like this. Okay. So this is how we'll come to that. I mean, you can give a dashboard title and all those things. So this is where you will bring together all the individual sheets to convey the story or the whatever dashboard that you're building, you can put them together. And the last one is basically again kind of, this is called a storybook. You can again use, let's say you want to convey a series of things that have happened, you want to put them like a storybook, right? So you can use this again. This is one, right? You can add more here. Let's say where it is. Let me just change the height a little bit. Let me make it 700 so that you will be able to see that. So this is width and this is height. What else? So new story point, how you want to do it. Let's say you can see at one point, you can use only one sheet. Unlike dashboard, in dashboard, you can use multiple sheets, right? But in story, one story will have only one sheet. Okay. And if click on blank, one more will come up. And let's say I'll go here like that. And let's say I will put one, click on blank. And again, let's say I'll put one more like this. So you can give them a name so people can go through like one after the other. You can use this as a storybook. Okay. We'll cover them in detail. Dashboard, I mean, just wanted to show you. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't get the question. Your voice broke. Okay, no problem. If there are no other questions, guys, we'll call it a day. We'll meet Friday morning. Please download Tableau desktop, okay? And try to create a Tableau public profile. At least create a profile. You may not put anything, but try to create a Tableau public profile. All right, guys. If you have no questions, thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you. Bye.